Good morning, it's Rich. Yes, bright and early with bedhead. Well, before I take a shower and start my day, this is what's on my heart today. If you're a strong person, you have a strong personality. I think they call it cleric. Well, what do you do with your strength? I was watching a Jimmy Evans video this morning and definitely found some very useful and helpful things. He said he asked the audience, how many people grew up in a family, in a home, where one parent dominated another? And he said almost everybody raised their hand. So I guess the thought today would be, think about your family and your childhood when you grew up. Who dominated your home? Or did you have a healthy, godly home? I didn't. I felt dominated by everybody in my house. Both parents. My older siblings. I felt bullied. Didn't help that I was like half the size of them when I was born, dropping to 4 pounds since I was a premature baby. But I lived. Well, at least I was alive. I'm finally getting healthy emotionally as I keep pressing in and seeking God with all my heart every day. Instead of just going through the motions, going to work every day, bringing home a paycheck. My life got completely torn apart. Not quite to the extreme of Job. In some ways, kind of like Joseph, but not the same. But enough to put me in a type of prison where I was focusing and forced to seek God. And during this time in the desert or in this prison, whatever you want to call it, to finally trusting Him for more than my salvation. Actually loving Him, loving life, and loving myself. And the more I grow and the healthier I get, the more I love other people, even in their brokenness, even if they don't see how they've been treating other people. But the challenge is, don't try to change people with your flesh. Love is what changes people. God is who changes people. But we have to exercise our free will. We have to seek, focus on, and submit to Him. He's not a sheep herder. He is a good shepherd. He leads His sheep who have to have the free will to choose to follow Him, to surrender their will for His, to submit to His authority, to submit and surrender to His love, to deny ourselves and what we foolishly want or choose to do, to no longer be like sheep that are trapped in a deep ditch, that the sheep need a shepherd to come take them out of the ditch. And what does the sheep usually do 99.9% of the time? Goes bounding off carelessly and lands right back in the ditch again. I watched a YouTube video of that one time. It was hilarious. Guy grabs the sheep, pulls it out of the ditch. It was a pretty deep ditch. It was really narrow and deep, but sheep gets out and goes bounce, 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 plop, right back in the ditch about 20 feet further down the field. I was like, oh my gosh, is that us? And Jesus has to keep coming and going, oh, my precious, foolish child, how many times must I lift you out of the ditch just to watch you carelessly, excitedly, blindly hop down the field again and plop right back in the ditch. That's okay. Some sheep think they know better than other sheep, and yet they also jump wildly, carelessly into another ditch all by themselves. People, when can we Stop trying to be one sheep telling another sheep which way to go, how to live. And why don't we just sit there and cry out, Jesus, help us. I'm stuck in a ditch.